are the world champion, yeah. Limitless. We are the world champion now. This is the song for the champion. For the champion, in a year with the sing, I'm a champion for life. Champion for life. Wipe the dice and you feel alive. I'm a champion for life. Champion for life. Pass the work on the radio, y'all. I'm a champion for life. Champion for life. Pass the ball, you're mistaken, y'all. We are champions for life. Champion for life.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the first 90 minutes virtual hangout with Nigerian stars in France. I sincerely appreciate everyone, and without wasting much of our time, I would like us to go straight to Adebisi Adeyemi, who is going to open the event properly with the national anthem of our beloved country. Adebisi Adeyemi, over to you.
Thank you very much, OJB, for this opportunity. I do not take it for granted. It's a real privilege to be able to sing the national anthem of my beloved country. I know we all have very different positions in our various homes, so we'll probably just be at a large in our minds as we sing the national anthem. We can do it together. Okay. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Adebisi.
That was good. That was good. You just said we're not going to employ you to sing for Nigeria.
Oh, Vincent, I have to make this confession. When I was 10 years old, you were my crush. I have to say it publicly.
Wow.
When I saw you were coming, I was like, oh my God, my childhood crush is coming. But anyway, that's not the platform. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Thank you,
That's
Adebisi.
that's a big one.
Thank you for that, Adebisi. And I'll quickly introduce OJB Sports and the events properly before we go to our mother here in France, where she can give us the opening remarks. OJB Sports is an initiative born out of strong passion for sports and has since had its presence in various tournaments across Europe, from FIFA Female World Cup to basketball league games in France, as well as Euro Cup when it comes to basketball, Champions League football, Europa League as well, and as well as wonderful interviews with Nigerian athletes scattered all over Europe. And due to the large presence of Nigerian athletes in France, we decided to have a sporting community like this, where everybody can come together, from the veterans to come and share their experiences and views with the young athletes, and probably talk about the landmines to avoid from getting into ditches and problems in France and in their career. So that was the bet of this 90 minutes virtual hangouts. And we hope this will be what we can always gather to do every year. Thank you so much. And over to our mother in France, Her Excellency, Dr. Modupe Irili.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for the organizers, OJB Sports, and Mr. Tunde Ojora for inviting me. I think it's a really great honor and of interest, because I didn't even know that there were so many sports people in France. and I've been here for a few years. So it's been an eye-opener for me too. Thank you very much for the invitation. I want to say thank you also to BC for such a nice opening, very nice voice, and keep it up. We hope to hear more from you. Sports is a very interesting way of bringing people together. And as I said, I didn't even know that there were so many people here in France that had previously been in professional sports in one area or the other, and that there are people that are beginning to be in sports and who are domiciled in France. Again, for me, ever since I first came to France, which was in 2017, the first event that I did was the Nigerian Creative Art Exchange. And that was to show people in France that Nigeria and France, they have a lot of things that are in common in the cultural area. And to see that sports is also something that they have in common is really exciting. I'm very happy also because sports is something that is bringing Nigerians all over the world. I've just read this morning that in America, the 8 people of Nigerian descent that actually dominated the NBA drafts. So that's exciting news for me to know also. EZINNE, KALU, I love your braids. You're looking really nice. I'm thinking, wow, I wish I could see her in person and say hi, hug her, give her a nice handshake. Amos, Joseph, Aloysius, I think we've met before. Did we not meet in Nigeria when you came to Nigeria? Was it? No, wasn't you?
Yes, yes.
It was you. Yes, I remember. So, and it would have been nice to see you again. So a few of you are friends, a few are new friends. But what is wonderful about this is that people can come together in a new way with further reach all across the world that we may not have been able to achieve if everybody had to pay tickets to come to France. So again, another good reason for this. What I think, I don't want to talk too much, but one thing that I would really love to be a good outcome of this meeting is that everybody can learn, one, from the veterans, what were the challenges that you had to start off with? What made it easy or enabled you to overcome those challenges? Is always going to be good to learn them. What are persisting challenges that over the years still have not been overcome and continue to be things that have to be worked towards? So that's something that I think would be very important to be an outcome. But I think more exciting would be, what are the new opportunities? What are there now to be grasped? What are low-hanging fruits and what are fruits that you have to reach out a little bit more to pluck? But those are the things that this conversation, I'm hoping, because it's a conversation event, Hangout, we're all being together. So what is it that what can we do to, one, maximize the opportunities, and two, to recognize hidden opportunities? And it's with discussions like these that you can tease out those hidden opportunities. Finally, you've asked me in my role as the ambassador here in France, what is it that even the embassy can do to assist? What kind of messages can we help you to send back? What kind of meetings can we facilitate for you? Those are things. So don't forget that the embassy is there for you to use and to be also a partner in everything that you are doing. With that in mind, I would like you to find a way to register with the embassy so that we can always call on you when the opportunity arises. I hope you have a very, very exciting discussion. I hope that there's lots of back and forth, going back and forth, and that a lot of people actually raise their hands to register their voice in this meeting. With that, I'll say, have a good meeting, and I look forward to hearing the outcomes and to seeing where we can go from here. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And
A lot for your kind words.
okay, let's kick it straight with Mr. Vincent Eyama. You know, in case you don't know, he is the only goalkeeper that has won the McVivian Foe Award. And McVivian Foe Award happens to be an award that was set aside to honor McVivian Foe, a footballer that died on the pitch. He is the only goalkeeper, and he is a Nigerian. Let him, walk us through that feeling and being the only goalkeeper to have won that trophy. From Vimpy, let's hear from you.
Oh, thanks a lot. It's really an honor to be to be here and to be the first to answer a question or to be the first to share my own part of the experience. Being nominated first was something I didn't see coming. That wasn't the reason I came over to France. But I was nominated and I won that award of being the best African player in France that year. It's an honor. It was an honor. Something prestige, something I pride myself of, something it's like a shame that is being taken away. It's like you wiping a mirror of the dew of the morning or something like that. Nigerian has not really achieved much in France in individual awards. We just come, we go, we come for a season and we're gone. We come for weeks and we're gone. So for me to have won that award was kind of like, okay, Nigeria is here to stay. Nigeria is here to put their feet down. We're here to mark it. Apart from JJ Ikbeba that played here, there was really no Nigerian that really made that big impact in France. So winning that award meant a whole lot to me personally, and a whole lot to me as a Nigerian. That Nigeria is here to make that impact. Nigeria is here to stamp it. Nigeria is here to take its place, So that's what it meant to me. And what means to me still means a lot, because I think Seaman won it this last time.
Yes.
So it was like, you Papa will pass something, give Pekin, something heritage, so I really like the right words to express it, to describe that feeling, but it was just a big honor. It was a big honor.
Wow, it was a big one. Before we come back to you, let's go to Aloysius. Aloysius, you grew up in the States and you come into France where there'll be language barrier and the cultural shock. Tell us, transitioning from the States and settling down in France, how was it for you there?
Before I start with that question, answering that question, I want to thank you for inviting me. Obviously, I got to do. Madam Ambassador, always great to see you again, and everybody else from the women's basketball team to the football team, Nigerian football team. Thank you for all the great things you have done. To answer your question about language barrier, that was something unique to me because I always represent myself as a Nigerian from day one in America. So when I had that difficulty, because you can still hear, I have a little twang, not a real deep Nigerian accent. And that was something that people try to draw out of you. Well, coming to France, well, next thing you know, they looked at me as an American, and I had to reintroduce myself as a Nigerian American. And that was really important for me. About language, I'm a little strong when it comes to that because I am Nigerian and American, and that's two prideful countries. So one of the things I always looked at French was they will come to me and says, why don't you speak French? And I always ask myself this one question. When the French went to Africa, did they speak African, any African language? And I always ask them, well, what Africans, they ask you. So that was something I had to grapple with myself. Like I would ask them, when you went to Africa, did you speak any African languages? No, you learn that. So once you learn my language too. So I had to take a lot of my pride aside on that. That's my Nigerian, and then American, you know, everybody say, oh, American were the best. There's some things that Americans is good for, that's good at, and there's some things that Nigerians were great at. So what I had to do was take my step by step, find people that can help me translate. I'm still grappling. I use the mobile app a lot. I try to do that, but a lot was my own pride with their ego, was kind of battling all the time. So I had to humble myself a lot and try a little, but at the same time, also let them know that I'm not from around here. I don't talk like you. I don't walk like you. So let's work together. And that was my experience. I'm still trying to deal with that. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's come back to Vincent. Actually, there is a question here saying, somebody is asking, there was a season Mr. Vincent had a long streak of clean sheets. Would you consider it as the best season of his career in France?
Best season of my career in France, yes. That's, I mean, it's a season I was like the underdog.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it. I mean, I give it to people that they said it's my best season in France, you know, because I had that streak, that 1,050 minutes without conceding a goal. But I think I would take another season as my best. You know, the season before the last season, I played for Lille as my best. You know, that's actually the season I made a better percentage of save, a better percentage of goals conceded. You know, that was a season. I mean, I conceded 23 goals in 35 games. That was massive. You don't get that in. But the other year I conceded, you know, more goals in 38 games. The other year I considered 26 goals in 38 games. But this one I considered 24 goals in 38 games. You know, so it was for me it was a better season, but it's just the difference that I had a streak of clean sheets, you know, 11 clean sheets without conceding a goal, which was not the same this other year. This year the clean sheet was spread, you know, with games. I had 19 clean sheets in 38 games, so which was massive, more than 50%. So wow. It was amazing. But I give it to people, like they say, it was my best year, so I accept it also as my best year. And no arguments. We live to enjoy and live to be happy. You know, so
live to enjoy. Now going to the ladies, EVELYN AKHATOR. If I'm right, you joined Flames Carol last year. I remember coming to Chaville Mezier to have an interview with your coach, and he said good things about you. How have you been settling down 1 year down the line? What can you say about France?
Hi, everyone. Thanks, OJB, for having me here. Well, I think it's been great so far, you know, considering the people in the environment, though the weather is a little bit crazy here, but I think it's a really good, I really like France, you know, and I'm hoping to be here for a longer time. And the team too has been helping me to adjust with everything and the language. And it's been a great year for me so far since I've been in France.
Okay. What about the croissant and the baguettes? Are you cooking with them?
Well, I love bread. I love bread. So yeah, I don't know about the baguette, but the croissant there has been.
Okay. All right. Let's go to EZINNE KALU now. You won the best player at the last AFCON Women tournament in Africa, and you guys played against Senegal, a compact team that speaks French. So I'm sure because I remember speaking with 1 or 2 players from that team, and they said, "Oh, the Senegalese team were saying stuff about you guys." Coming to France, those words Could you pick one or two? Okay, this lady said this to me. Maybe this was what he's trying to say. Or can you relate playing there in that tournament and the French language when you arrived here?
Oh, first, thank you for having me, and it's good to see everyone. I don't remember exactly what was said from the players. Me personally, when I play against a tough team and tough players, after the game is sort of like it goes out of my head. As far as playing here, France, I love it here. The competition is really tough. To play against some of the players that I played against in AfroBasket is actually pretty funny, because when I play against them here in the French league, it's like they go super hard. They want to prove a point because they know I play for the Nigerian team, and that's equivalent to them beating us in AfroBasket. So it's actually pretty fun to play against them, and the competition here is really high level. It's great, and being able to play here for my second year out of all the 5 years I've been playing is really been good.
Oh, wow. All right. Mr. EKENE IBEKWE, the last time I met you was in Paris, playing for Paris Levallois.
Right.
You now play for Rennes.
Right.
Compare these cities in case, I mean, for people that would like to tour France around, how can you compare them language-wise and how they welcome people?
First of all, I just want to thank you for having me. Good to see all y'all. Some of y'all that I know, some of y'all that I don't know. I'm just meeting for the first time. To answer your question, playing in Levallois, I pretty much was in Paris, so it's a bigger city. Pretty much what I'm used to, like a bigger city coming from Los Angeles. But Reims is also a nice city. It's like the Champagne country, a lot of history with the wine vineyards, and they make a lot of champagne and wine and stuff. So people are more. It's like a more slower pace, but at the same time, it's a good place to be. And yeah, but I would prefer to be in a bigger city though.
Everybody want to see Paris, and
of course,
and live, not die. Now let's go back to Vincent Eyama. Obviously, he's been here. He's a veteran. He's been here for ages. Every athlete, let's use the word colored athletes, in one way or the other have come against racism or racial abuse during their career. And I'm sure, or I want to assume in one way or the other, maybe something like that happened. How did you deal with it if it happened? And what advice do you have to the current stars now? What can you say?
Thanks a lot for that question. I'm really one person that I advise the younger ones coming through. Listen, you can't take it out. I'm so sorry. I'm so, how do I put it? I'm happy to know that the brothers that came down from America, like EKENE, like my other brother. It's hard, it's worse in the States. You guys know about that. It's worse over there. But me, I have made up my mind. The truth is that we're blacks. You can't take that off the books. We blacks. And as long as we are not back home, we have to deal with these things. I've made up my mind. I've crossed it out there. I'm black. I'm not white. You have to accept whatever comes. And you have to take it and smile because you're not in your country. You have to smile at it. I've played, and even a fan of my team throwing banana for me to eat, when I considered a goal. You know what I did? I took the banana, I threw it out. I continued the game. I ended that game as the man of the match. He came and apologized at the end, This is it. Against Rennes, we considered a goal, and a biscuit was thrown at me. I took the biscuit out, I threw back to the crowd, I smiled at it, I walked past. I've actually been dealt with so many times, when I was in Tel Aviv, when I had visits in the States, when I did my vacation in the States, in New York, in a very famous restaurant, I won't mention the name. But this is a life. We're blacks. And we have to face the reality. We blacks. There's nothing we can do about it. Racism is like COVID that has come to stay. Racism is gonna be here till eternity. and we can't change that. Is it how we accept it and live with it and know that we can make the best use of it? That's my own point of view. A lot others have a different opinion, and I respect that. I'm not gonna be one of those that's gonna go out there to fight because I'm black and the police person is. I have been dealt with in so many crazy ways. You know, I lost my driving license for overspeeding, but I was driving with a friend, a colleague that is white. He didn't even get a fine. They stopped two of us. They took 2 points from me. He didn't get a fine. You know, so by the police. So these things happen, and what did I do? I did my stash, I got back my license, and life goes on. I did all that with smiles. So I will advise those of us that are here and the ones coming through. The truth is, we blacks, there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to accept it. The earlier we realize that, the better for us. Most of the blacks in the states that are losing their lives wouldn't be losing their lives. Most of the blacks that are being maltreated wouldn't be maltreated. They hands up, you hand up. They put your hands behind you, just do it, and you walk away from trouble. This is the truth. We blacks, we can't change it. We can't change it. There's nothing we can do about it. If the police pulls you over, pull over quietly, no argument, no problem. You get to the restaurant, they want to insult you, take your family, walk away. Okay. We blacks, that's the truth.
You mentioned, you said you respect everyone's opinion.
Yeah.
Last season I was with the Cameroonian defender who keeps for hires now, Andre Onana. And
okay.
After the game, I was interviewing him and I asked him about racial abuse. And he said to me, he said, OJB, listen, if I'm on the pitch and a fan throw a banana at me, I won't walk out. I will take it and eat it. I will continue the game. Because the moment you walk out of the pitch, you already said to them, okay, they have control over what's
over you. So I will tell you an experience I had. It's not in France. I want to share. I don't like sharing that because it's crazy. After that year that you mentioned, the year I had the 11 clean sheet on the streak, I had an offer from a very famous top team in Germany. Top team in Germany. The coach wanted me crazily, like he wanted me with everything. You know what the general manager said? Listen, what are we going to tell our fans? That we're signing a black goalie. Deal was perfect. Deal was everything. But that's what my agent told me. The general manager just killed the deal. Listen, we can't sign a black goalie. We know Vincent. He is very good. We can't sign a black goalie. We can't. Wow. What are we going to tell our fans?
Yeah. Aloysius has something to say about this racial abuse and everything. Let's hear from you, Aloysius.
I've been playing overseas for 15 and a half years.
Yeah.
And I'm a professional athlete. In most respect to you, is that I kind of have a different take to it. Yes, on the pitch, on the court, there are things that happen to me, just like it happened to you. I give you one. Yes, I have had fans make gorilla noise at me when I dunked. That has happened to me. But the one thing I had that I think is a little different from you, I mean, on the basketball court, it's a little different. I reacted. I reacted to my team. I reacted to my team to fight for me. I reacted to my coach to fight for me. Because in the end, I knew that my voice was the only voice that's going to be heard if I didn't react. So I didn't react because of me. I reacted because if they're going to do that to me, they're going to do that to the next guy the next Nigerian person that comes to France, the next time. So I made my teammates know that it wasn't going to be happening. I understand what you say. There's some things that you got to do. Reaction doesn't mean you have to be mad. I made jokes. I smiled. And I told my coach, if you want a monkey to play for you, then you better give him some goddamn bananas, and that means in bonuses, and that's going to cost you a lot of goddamn bananas. So that's why it's a little difference from me and you. Is my team was one of the things that came up to me and said, look, You better fight for him. So in the end of before the game was going to be ended, he went, grabbed the mic, and told them to stop. So I'm going to tell you, there is not just reaction to be angry. There's also reaction with a smile, and there's a reaction on the halftime where you can discuss with the team. If you want me to fight for you, you better damn right fight for me. That was on the basketball team. On the court and off the court, it's a little different. I do have a little arrogance, you can see how I am. I'm a little, yo, you know how I carry myself. You know how I walk. But I'm on court. There's some things that I know that I'm not gonna know that younger Nigerians, we just had eight Nigerian descent get in the NBA in 1 year. It's unheard of. And yes, thank you to all the work they do, but also it's a generation shift. When I started, they even said, oh man, your name is too difficult. We can't even have you on the court. It took time. But it took time, or like me.
Aloysius, can I please stop you that? Because the ambassador she has to leave. So she just want to say something because she has to leave now. Your Excellency, I understand you have to leave now.
I do have to leave, but the conversation has been very interesting. And if you don't mind, I'd just like to say 1 or 2 words part of it. I recognize the fact that, is it okay? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that has been going on is about the racial tensions and how people have to recognize that when you're not in your own country, you have to abide by the laws and have to do things so that you don't get into trouble. But I do encourage you to also recognize that there have been some fights that have been done in the past to get Black people to be able to get to this point of being part of mainstream sports outside our world, outside Africa. And those fights, they've been costly to some people as well. So I really would encourage people not to, I mean, I agree, you don't fight on the team, you don't create problems for yourself, but do remember that people have paved the way for us to get to where we are, and that there is an amount of struggle that has to continue. I hope you can just add that to the various voices that you're hearing. Thank you very much for having invited me. And I'm really sorry I can't stay to the end, but the conversation so far has been really very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you for your time. All right, Aloysius, let's get back to you before I bring in Utaka the attacker, who just joined us. Let's continue from you.
Okay, let's just make it. When I first came to France, most of the time when people met me, I was usually the first Nigerian they ever met. I was surprised, really surprised. So the way they treated me, and I'm telling you, as a Nigerian, we are great. We're one of the most people in the world that has great pride and our ego. And that's, yes, it is my Nigerian blood. So, and that's something that I know that makes us great athletes too. That's what makes us great athletes. So we don't have to hide behind, we can't just say, oh, but that pride, that's what makes us. So I had to introduce myself as a Nigerian so they understand how to treat us. Yes, I did smile a lot. I love to smile. But in the same time, I was direct and honest with them. This is how we are because, and then they started saying it. They saying, well, you Nigerians are different from the Senegalese. You Nigerians are different from the Kenyans. And I just kept saying it's because of the fact that it is in our blood, it's in our culture, our family history, everything. I agree with you, Vincent. Yes, smiling is part of being a Nigerian. Use that to our advantage, but also be able to use that to persuade people to come our way too. So I don't want to get too much into it. Thank you for.
All right. We have with us again, joining us is also a veteran, John Chukwudi Utaka. We'll pick it from this angle because this conversation is getting more interesting now. You scored the brace that handed Montpellier their first ever title win. And in that game, the game had to be stopped more than 2 or 3 times because of the heated arena and everything going on. But today we're talking about racism. Is there any way during that game you got some racial abuse or some racial attack because you scored the brace that ended the win. So what can you tell us about all this?
I mean, to answer your question, there was no racial issues in the game. It was just supporters trying to, stop the game one way or the other. But, there was nothing like racism in the game.
Okay.
So I've been fortunate. Like my whole career, I've never encountered anything about racism at all. Because I mean, each individual is different, and we perceive things differently. So what you pay attention to, in as much as there is, stuff like that, but what you pay attention to comes to life. You get my point? So I ignore things that will affect my game, so that's how I look. I don't really care, it's the people inside the field, the opposition team that matters the most to me, so whatever anybody says outside of that, I don't pay attention.
Okay. All right. We have questions. We have a series of questions here. Let me just read that. We'll start from someone here say, Miss KALU, congrats for winning the guard player of the year. What's your opinion about WNBA and French women basketball? Do you think any team can match the Dallas women?
I'm not sure. He said what?
He said, do you think any team can match the Dallas women?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it may not be specifically from a French league, but I feel like if you put any players on the court who has the will to win and has the will to compete, that they can play against anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's also a question here. Okay, director to John Utaka. John Utaka, is he also a coach now? Yeah, he's a coach. John Shukuri Utaka is a coach of Montpellier under 17, if I'm right, sir. Is it under 17?
Yeah, what I do, I'm doing, we call it specific attaquant, like in French, I work with strikers, from under 16 down to reserve team.
Okay, from under, I hope that answers your question. Another question here, does he have any special routine going into every match? Okay, this is to Vincent Eyama. Does he have any special routine going into every match? Anything that will bring him luck, seeing how he performs and keeps his cool?
Seriously, I have heard that question. I've been asked that question so many times.
We can't hear you.
Okay.
You
okay? Good now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been asked that question so many times, and I don't have any routine, any belief, anything. I mean, Christian, Nigerians, a lot of us are Christians and we believe strongly in God. A lot of us are Christians, a lot of us are Muslims, and we believe strongly in our God. So I pray a lot. That's what I do all week. That's what I do all day. That's what I do before I step out for training. And I work hard so much. I work hard. Even I'm afraid of my work ethics. I work so hard. Training, doing specific, like John just said. I do a lot of specific with the coach, without the coach, in the gym, and I really target the opponent, and I study a lot. For those that really don't understand that football sport, I don't know about you basketballers, but I think it's the same. I study a lot of the attackers. I go to YouTube, I go to the club web pages, I go to their matches, the last 2-3 matches, like if I want to play against John now, and I will take 3 of John's matches and his colleagues, 3 of their matches, national team matches, and see what they've done the last 3 weeks. That's what I do all the week before playing my game. So if John scored a bicycle kick, there's the possibility that he would want to repeat it. If John played a penalty to the right side, there's a possibility that he scored. There's a possibility that he will want to repeat same. So that's what I do. If John made a strike from 20-30 meters, there's a high percentage, that is 70%, that even he gets the ball at that position, he would want to repeat same. You know, so that's how I study a lot. I live on the internet. I work hard, and getting to the match day, I'm like calm. I'm quiet because I know I've ticked all the boxes and I'm ready.
It's like study your opponents. Study your.
Right. And to add to that, you know,
go on, please.
Us basketball players, it's pretty much the same thing. Like for example, me being, you know, I'm primarily a defender. You know, I play on both sides of the ball, but I pride myself on stopping the person in front of me. So usually I always get the toughest, pretty much the best offensive player on the opposing team. So going into this next game, I'm gonna watch let's say 2 to 3 previous games of this player. Does this player go left? Does this player like to go right? You know, different things like that. Yeah, you know, you just study their tendencies, and going into game, it's good to know that you know all these things and you're just prepared for the match. And you have the confidence of knowing that, you know, okay, this person's gonna shoot a lot, they're gonna get a lot of shots, but you're gonna make them feel very, very uncomfortable taking those shots.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty much the same thing.
Okay, there's a question for you, EKENE.
What's up?
There's a question for you. It says, from Ibrahim George. He said, my question goes to Mr. IBEKWE. I am a Lakers fan and feeling like a champ presently after winning the NBA to tally Celtic record. If you have the opportunity to play for the Lakers alongside KLJ and Hedy, how would that make you feel? And how do you feel with the D Tigers of Nigeria?
You said KLJ? Who's KLJ?
Okay, yeah, he said KLJ. Yeah, no, let me see.
That should be LeBron James.
Maybe it means LB.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay. He meant LBJ.
Yeah.
Probably a typo.
Yeah.
No, you know, it would definitely be a blessing and a great feat to play for your home team, from where you're from. But what was the other question?
Yeah. How do you feel about playing with the Tigers of Nigeria?
Okay, so I'm not currently playing. I'm done. You know, I gave it up to the younger guys, but I think going into the Olympics, whenever it is, I think the most important thing will be the experience, and the veteran experience. You know, going to the Olympics, it's a whole different ball game. You know, when it comes to the highest level of competition, and you know, just the pride playing for your country and looking to get a medal. So I think the most important thing would be the experience and how the older guys pretty much set the example for the younger guys. It's a lot of younger guys. It's going to be a lot of young guys on the team that hasn't been on that level, hasn't really seen what it's like. So the most important thing would definitely be the experience. All right.
I'm going to EVELYN AKHATOR. There's a question for you. What's the question from Soniola? She's sorry, I don't know if it's a she or he. The question says, my question to EVELYN, which was tougher, Mali 2017 or 2019?
I think Mali was a bit tougher, you know. Considering, I think Malians, they had a stronger team compared to Senegal, even though both games are all home teams. But I think Mali was a bit tougher for us, you know. Yeah, playing against the Malians to qualify for the finals, and then again playing against Senegal. So Mali 2017 was a bit tougher than 2019.
All right. Okay. Yeah, Aloysius has got something to say. So,
can I ask a question to the female women basketball team?
Yeah.
How did you do it? How did you win? Just tell us how did you win the championship? Because this is in the back of my mind. We know about proper preparation prevents poor performance. And if anybody knows that the women's basketball team did something I never seen before, going to with the shortest preparation time ever,
Man, y'all did that.
Not just winning, but dominating.
Did that.
Dominating the field. So with the women, please, both of you, just tell me the secret sauce.
Let's start from EZINNE KALU.
Honestly, I think the main thing we did was held each other accountable. Every practices we had, we went at each other as if we were playing against each other. And I think that's important. Before you step on the court, it's important that you really compete with your teammates to make her better. It's important to strengthen y'all weaknesses, because that's the time for y'all to really, get down and dirty with each other so that you can take that same frustration out on the other team. So I think us just staying together, holding each other accountable, and like really digging deep and saying, if we're gonna win this, we really gotta stay together and give it 100% on and off the floor. And that's what we did. We gave 100% in film sessions. We gave 100% in team meetings. We gave 100% in the practices. And we gave 100% during meal times, meaning like talking about the game, saying what's the game plan. We just gave it all we got, really.
Okay.
EVELYN?
Well, to add to what Z said was, yeah, we held each other accountable, and also we were just tired of losing. Like Nigeria, they had like this history of just, so we were basically just tired of losing. And we wanted to make history.
I have a question for the ladies.
Yeah. The Super Eagles were leading by 4 goals to 0, and they bottled it. And on Twitter, the MBBF, Nigerian Basketball Federation, tweeted something and said, "We are not a marker that will disappoint you." So basically, you guys disappointed. So go on.
Nah, that's the setup, though. I mean, but again, it's all about the Z. There's this fire in us that we don't care who you are. We just want to go at it, and that started with us trusting each other, trusting one another, and also just playing, have fun. Basketball is all about fun. We just decided to have fun, and
all right.
It's that with us.
Impressed so far. So Amos.
OJB.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a question from someone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amos Joseph, founder of Footballers Connect. So there's a question from someone to Mr. Vincent Nyama. He says, "My question to Vincent: feel pressure to deliver since he plays at the highest level. How does the pressure feel?" And then I'm going to bring it down to the 4-4 and the 0-0 that we played against Sierra Leone back home and then in Sierra Leone. Imagine yourself being in this team. How do you recover from this kind of things? I think John Utaka may also be able to help us with this question.
Let's start.
I think you should start that question with John Utaka. No, sincerely speaking. Sincerely speaking.
Please answer the question. The question I beg, Joe.
Sincerely speaking, I have been very, very lucky. I have been very, very lucky not to have considered because for me the 4-4 was more like a defeat. I've been very, very lucky not to have considered considered that kind of a game. I have never been in the lead and like you said, bottled it. And unfortunately, it happened to them. It's sad, but this is only a game. This is only sports. This is only what I know. A lot of Nigerians we're very passionate about football and sport in general, but truth be told, it's just sport. It's football. I think they learned. I didn't watch the game. I think they learned. The coaches will sit back on that video and study it for their next game. So for me, I've never experienced it, leading 4-0 and losing at the end, because for me, that's a lost game. And I read a lot of comments about the return leg that the field was really very bad. I didn't also watch that game. So when you bring players that are playing on a very good turf, like my brothers and sisters that are basketballers that are playing one of the best turfs, and you bring them to Nigeria to play in all those crazy basketball courts, For real, they're gonna find it difficult. Is the truth. I don't know if I'm saying the truth with everyone that is here that are basketballers. I don't know if they bring you from a very top and put you in one of those crazy Nigerian pitches that have holes and the floor is not wood, the floor is not nice. I don't know if you'll be able to put out the same output. I don't know. But for us footballers, it's not possible. You can't bring AKHATOR from a very good playing surface to surface that cows should be playing. Cow, Nama should be running around. He's not gonna give you his best. He's not gonna succeed. That's the truth. I mean, we back home, we don't understand these things. We want you, even if we put you in a pit hole to play, you bring out the best, you win. Because you're already playing for Manchester United. Utaka scored Brest. He scored against Bayern Munich. He scored against AC Milan. You are coming to play at home. You must score. But they forget that Utaka has been playing on a very smooth surface. He's been having a very smooth training ground, surfaces that he's been practicing and doing well. Coming back home will be hard and difficult. But I still feel for the boys. I feel for them, for the result they had. But thanks to God, I've never been in that situation. So I wouldn't be able to talk for them.
Maybe we can go to Utaka now.
Anyway, I mean, this thing, I mean, this is football anyway. And, it can, in football, it can go either way, It was a mistake. I think there was kind of, after they scored 4, I think maybe there was a kind of, lack of concentration that made them to not focus 100% on the game, because maybe they thought the game is won already since it's 4-0. But just remember, it can happen to anybody, including myself.
Exactly.
This is football. If you don't,
we have been lucky not to have been there.
It's a game of inches. When you slack, you get paid for it immediately. So I mean, it was unfortunate that those guys came back 4-4, but we should also remember the man miracle for Nigeria as well when we were losing to, the one we were losing 4-0. I think it was back in the days, and Nigeria equalized 4-4 and win the game, too. So this thing, like I said, it can go either way. It was a mistake, I just believe that they will learn. These boys are professionals, so they know, I mean, it pained them like it pained the rest of the supporters and the rest of Nigerians. So I think they will learn from this and then know that every goal you score is as precious as any other one. So when you score a goal, you have to make sure you protect the goal you scored. So I mean, they have to learn from this and then carry on.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Joining us.
Can I ask all our basketballers friends if they've not had an experience like that they were leading about, let's say, 50-20 and they end up losing?
Oh yeah, before they even answer you, I remember they were leading United States of America, and we were expecting them to win. Nobody gave them the chance going into the game, but they brought it to the Americans. And but what happened? So take it from there and answer the questions. Let's start from
EVELYN. You want to answer? Let me go first.
No, no.
I think USA is definitely a team where they play 4 quarters until the clock strikes 0. And I think what happened with us in the 4th quarter specifically, we just kind of got relaxed and we ran out of gas. And we already had in our mind that, well, we qualified for the Olympics, so let's enjoy these last few minutes. And that's where the United States kind of stepped in and said, okay, well, we're not going to lose to Nigeria. That's going to go down in history as like one of the worst losses for us. So I don't think it was nothing that the USA did special, but I think we just got relaxed and we kind of got comfortable. And that was the moment to kind of like sneak up on us and take the lead from us.
So have you ever bottled a lead like that? Isn't EVELYN? You pick it from there. Let's take it away from the United States of America. What happened? Have you ever bottled a lead, like you were 20 minutes off and you just let it slide in any of your games?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, usually we always tell ourselves, like during halftime, we always tell ourselves it's 0-0 now. Like it's not over until it's over, until the buzzer goes off. Like we need to keep playing. And one thing we always tell ourselves is we never underrate any team, no matter how little the team is or how small the team is. Never underrate any team because at the end of the day, it comes back to bite us. So we always, like, it has never happened to us before.
All right, now it's been interesting so far. We'll now move to the business of sports. It's a good thing, life, the athletes, we see them, but the longevity of, an athlete, sometimes it's not guaranteed. As a footballer, after 30 years, you are considered you're old, you can't perform anymore. And then, the time after that, your active time, it's what most people forget to plan or prepare for. So let's start from Aloysius Anagwe. I'm sure because we've had some conversations, you've told me about business and how athletes need to prepare. What's your take about this?
Thank you. So first of all, why do you want to talk to me? I'll tell you what I'm doing so you can understand what's the correlation. Yeah. Currently, I'm a managing consultant. As right here, you can see there's a company called AKENE International.
You're supposed to pay for that. So you're paying for displaying that.
I'll pay for that later. But I'm just going to tell you what the identity about that is. The identity is about how our history, our education, how can it keep it going for the next generation. And as I see myself as a Pan-African, and first and foremost. And when we go into all these different places as athletes, we pick up a lot of different things. We pick up a lot of different knowledge. There's an old saying my father used to tell me. He said one time, he says, there's a king in Africa. And this is how he made his kingdom great. And he says, there's a king in Africa. He had 10 children. And he told the children to go to 10 different places around the world. And all was princess and princess. And he says, at the age of 18, I want you all to come back. And so he waited 10 years. And just like if you do anything for 10 years, you can become an expert. And one became a doctor, the other one became a lawyer, the other one became a construction worker, and they all became successful. Now, they had to come back to the kingdom and bring their knowledge. So as a Pan-African, which goes all different places, I ask myself, as a Nigerian, we go to so many different places. And there's so many things that we do great at that place. And how do we get back to Africa? In our hearts, we are Nigerians. In our bodies, we need to go back to Africa. So now this is the part about Africa, if you know, is the youngest population. Nigeria is one of the most dynamic population in Africa. So how do we take our knowledge and take it back home? And like the US does a great job promoting their players. And how do we get our chance to promote each other back home? Because with over 200 million people, how do they get to know us? And that's something that is really important for us to start thinking, especially now, and how we can think about it, how we can connect to each other. Nigerians, we like to do things individually. And in the sports industry, you can't do anything individually. You got to come together as a team. Just like a boxer, you're going to be knocked out sooner or later. But if you come with a team, that team can last for a long time, maybe centuries. So what I'm trying to say, this is a great talk. Thank you for bringing this together, because I believe this is a great way for all of us to come together and become a team and take it back to Africa, back to Nigeria, back to our village. I'm gonna give my shout out to my village out there in Hala, Anambra. Excuse me, but those are things that we need to start thinking now about sports industry in Nigeria and how we could come together, not just individually, and do things. Okay, that's back on you.
All right. We've seen. Let me go to the attacker, John Chukwudi to Utaka. We've seen athletes, footballers now. They don't prepare for life after football. They go bankruptcy. They become stranded after their active days. But we can use it as a case study now. You're based in France. After football, you decided to stay in France. You're doing well. We've had conversations, we've had interviews, we've talked. What advice will you say to, to these current football players, Nigerian players in France?
I mean, you have to have a kind of set a kind of objective for yourself. Like, you have to because for every destination, one should have a map, a guideline kind of, for you to arrive. For example, if a flight is leaving from Nigeria, the flight already, have a destination where, it will land in Paris, Charles de Gaulle, right?
Yeah.
So that same thing goes with, professionalism. If you want to be a footballer, you must, for example, I'll say, okay, I'm coming to France. I want to win Champion France, for example. It was a personal objective for myself. I know football is a collective sport, but you have to set a goal for yourself. I said, if I come here to play football, at the end of the day, I have to think of what I will do after that. So what will I do? I will only teach what I know. So that's why I went, that's why I go into coaching. I'm like, okay, I've got this knowledge for over 20 years. So I can impact this knowledge as well to younger generations by teaching them what I know. I will never teach, for example, what I don't know. If you ask me to sing, to be a musician, sorry, maybe I might not know how to hold the mic, but football is what I've been doing since 6 years old, So, and then now it's an opportunity for me, like, to say, okay, I have to let these boys know how to score goals too, because with my eyes closed, I know where the goalpost is. So how will I transfer that to those boys? Is by doing what I'm doing now, So that's the thing. The whole idea is to set an objective for yourself, know what you want to do, stay away from, like, know the let me put it this way, know the advantages and disadvantages of social media. It could help you in one way, but it could also destroy in a second way. It's like a proverb kind of, most of the players, not all the players, most of the players, they waste time, for example, in social media instead of doing something that they will benefit from. You get my point? Now, there's more to putting in work. I'm not saying that people shouldn't go to social media, but those things doesn't really add up to the personal body of work that you'll be doing closed doors. You get my point now? Maybe some players are doing it, but I don't know. I'm just saying from my own experience, because some younger players, they waste their time on the internet, watching like the step overs that some players do without even putting it in practice themselves. So that's my only advice. Set a goal and then work towards the goal. I give an example of Ronaldo. Ronaldo was 17 years old. When he came to Man United, his first salary, he invested it in how do you say, in gym and stuff like that, because he's already planned about like 30 years on a top level. You get my point? He wasn't buying Ferraris and stuff like that. He already, put things in place that will make him recover from each and every training. Okay. So if we can learn from that, for our youth, it will be good too.
I'm already seeing some tweets that I'm being tagged on. For every destination, one should have a map as a footballer. John Utaka. All right. All right. Let's come to the basketball players now. We'll start from EKENE IBEKWE. You've been playing. The last time I met you in Paris, I think it was 2 years ago, if I'm right. But you're still active. What plans do you have for life after your active days as a basketball player? What are the plans?
Thanks for the question. Well, as of now, it feels real good to be I'm 35 now. I feel like I can play for at least another 5 more years. Body's feeling good. I've been preparing myself, for this time, as far as like my nutrition and things like that, to prolong my career. But to answer your question, I've been doing things in the community back home, back where I'm from, in LA, and just trying to trying to link up with the Nigerian community back there, with the churches back there, just with the kids back there, and trying to start off and doing training and a couple of camps that I got. Well, hopefully with this whole COVID thing, if it goes away, I had some things set up where I can just link in with the younger generation, because me being the first generation back home, I didn't have nobody that looked like me, that had the same name as me, and to show me the way when it comes to getting acclimated with sports in the States. So I want to be that outlet for them. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been focusing on. Other than that, I've been really looking into real estate, looking to get a couple properties back home, and just learning more about it. I have so much downtime, just looking into that, and also getting my real estate license. So I'll be moving on in that direction going forward.
All right. Before I move over to Oluwafemi Adefeso, who is the brain behind Ball Africa, and he was currently on BBC 2 days ago to talk about where he talked about the Nigerian 8 wonderful guys that made it to NBA. But before I switch to him, Ekene Ibekwe's younger sister is actually here in France. So we've got Ibekwe's in France.
Yeah.
So Oluwafemi Adefeso, over to you. The basketball players, they are all yours for this moment. So let's just hear one or two things you've got to ask. Can you unmute your, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Babatunde Ojora, for having me on. I must say it's a huge pleasure to be here. Like the other basketball players, I shouldn't be dressed like this. I should be wearing, the blings, the sweatshirts, and the hoodie. But I'm best man in my cousin's wedding, and that's why I'm in the car as well too. But I couldn't resist the opportunity of, being with you guys and just coming out to speak. So I'm really very appreciative of the opportunity. I'm not taking it for granted at all. I'll keep you with Ekene. He also has a third sister who played basketball. I just want to know, this is something I've been always thinking about. Casually, how is it like basketball-wise in the house? Like, teams you guys support, you support the same team. What's the culture like in that? When you guys are all together? I know you guys are not always together, but I mean, it's interesting to know what it feels like. Having 3 sisters that have played on the national team at various times and done good things.
I'm sorry, I couldn't really hear you. You said, what is it like to what?
Having siblings that played on the national teams as well. I mean, what's it like in the house? Like the conversations, competition, the teams you support, the culture. When you guys are just having that family discussion.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been kind of competitive when it comes to sports, but for me personally, as an older brother, it feels good to have my little sister on the team. I don't know if it's ever been done to have siblings on the men's and women's team to go to the Olympics. I'm not even sure if that's ever happened.
It's never been done.
It probably has.
Okay, well, it has been done. It has been done.
Probably has.
Utaka and our brother.
You said Ime, right?
Yeah, Ime. Yeah, he played on the national team as well.
Right. So I mean, it's a good feeling. She's talking more trash to me nowadays because she they won the she won it with her team, but I wasn't on the men's team, the Afro basket. So, but no, it's all good energy. It's all fun. I'm so proud of her. Yeah, so it's a good feeling.
So I'll follow up with one more thing. Based on the last conversation which Amos was talking about, life after sports. And I think this is generally for everybody. Because one of the things that I do aside reporting basketball, is I started out Ball Africa, which is an acronym for Balls Activating Literacy and Leadership in Africa. And it's just basically about this. Life before sports, life after sports. Because a lot of kids out there in Africa, once you're talented a little bit, you could dribble the ball or you can score a few goals. You dump every other thing and pursue that at the detriment of every other thing. But people forget that at 30, you're still young, but they tell you you're old. So what happens to you after then? And so I got curious with the fact that for someone like me, I also had dreams, never played, but I became a journalist that has now traveled to the NBA, interviewed LeBron and all of that. So we started out something. I'm saying that in reference to the question he must ask, that I think sports should go beyond just becoming a coach, becoming an agent, as the optimum. I think, it should be seen as a full-fledged career where you could think about becoming a GM, you could think about becoming, a physical trainer, a doctor, the agent, and all of that. So I think sports, in reference, to go beyond just after playing or I want to play. I can decide to choose not to play and just go straight and become a physical trainer or something. So at the end of the day, I think as athletes, it would be great if you guys would help advocate for the fact that you're talented, yes, pursue sports, but I mean, also look out for other opportunities around it. And that's what we're trying to do. But I want to ask, aside private businesses or aside investments, aside putting money out and keeping saving for the future. What ways do you guys think young people, particularly Africans, knowing the fact that a lot of our kids, their families are dependent on them, how can they build that sustainable wealth from the opportunities they get? Because I mean, this is huge exposure. Playing, you can travel to many countries. Some of you get citizenships of other countries. Some of you get many other things. So I don't know. I just want you guys to help. Especially, I know some few people are on this call because a few people asked me what they could get from some of you. What are the plans you think young people can make? I don't know who to call direct this to specifically. Maybe
What's Aloysius?
They will help me out.
Let's start from Aloysius.
You can do.
Aloysius, let's hear from you in regard to what he asked.
Again, great question. I'm honored to answer this question. Yes, what you said is 100% right, 1,000% right. Sports is an industry, and we need to start looking at that really like an industry. As players, we are the product of the industry, but they're just like any product. They're designers. They're market people. They're people for marketing. Even in social, like you say, some of those. How do you turn social media into positive? Turn to a social media person that does for sports industry. That's the issue that I think I speak with a lot of passion because of that, because I think that's the issue that we have in Africa, that we only see as the end product. Like, I must commend you for what you're doing as a journalist, because that is also another different end product. That's another side. That's part of the end product. So that's the first thing I tell all the young people: find your passion, not just about sports, but also, are you a great painter? Are you a great curator? Are you a great, a lot of people are great writers, and they just focus on only playing sports, and they forget about and just becoming, keeping on. So find your passion, like you're really like. The next thing is use sports as a vehicle. It's a vehicle. I have used sports as a vehicle. First thing was my dad, you're gonna get your education. Okay, I used it as a way to go to college. I wanted to get a scholarship to college. When I got there, at that time, everybody just started going to the MBA. I got my degree. I said I wanted to do business. Did business. Now I want to travel the world. I use it as a vehicle. Everybody has a different destination they want to do. Sports is one of those things that you can use. As athletes, what we need to do, and I think that we need to do, is we are so competitive. And again, I go back to my pride, my ego. I have to humble myself. As I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie again. I'm a rookie in the business. And one of the things about being a rookie is, just like in the sports, you have to be humble. You got to come in with a different mindset. When we are top athletes and we want top athlete, it's really hard for us to take it back down. And that's something I got to understand. Personal development is something else. It's part of the transition. That's part of it. So if for young athletes, learn how to be a personal development, learn this time boxing, learn how to manage your time, learn how to prioritize. Also, diversify. Like the whole world is changing. You need to know technology. You need to know about medicine. Everybody's a doctor now because of Corona. Everybody's telling me. So everything you have to do is diversify your thought. So athletes, we're the ones. Don't be afraid to come together and talk together. I think we get so caught up in being competitive with each other on the court. We also feel like that's how it is, should be off the court. Maybe team up with your ex-teammates. And that's what I've been doing. The best are the ex-teammates and say, look, man, let's get together and be a teammate on life. And let's do something like maybe build, like you said, build a gym, and get a nice floor in Africa. Or let's go and get a new school in Africa. I know right now, there's a lot of companies in Europe and in America, and NBA is one of them, is going to Africa. They've done the studies. The risk factors are maybe there, but trust me, people are not investing their money where they don't think there's no investment to be. If all these people are going, we better be the ones to come together and go first. And don't be afraid to do it. And also be open to suggestion, talk to each other. You guys can call me anytime.
Thanks so much.
That's my answer.
I picked one or two things here. The part I love most is where you said we shouldn't be competitive against each other on the field and off the field. We should come together off the field as Nigerians and try to better country and the continent. Now we are almost wrapping up. In the next 20 minutes or so, we'll be wrapping this up. But Amos, okay, Amos, before you ask your question, I have someone sent something here. She said, because it's a lady and I've been seeing the message here. The person says, is it safe to invest back home or to invest in Europe? That's a general question. And the same person also said to the ladies now, ladies, how do you, sorry, I'm trying to bring it down. Ladies, how do you reconcile being a sports person and femininity? Let's start from EVELYN now. How do you reconcile being a sports person and femininity? That's a question from
can you explain the question again? Because the
how do you reconcile being a sports person and femininity?
I mean, being a sports person doesn't have anything to do with me being a female, even though it's like still women basketball or women football or something. It still doesn't. Sport is sport, So, I mean, it really doesn't really have anything to do with me being a female or something. Right. When you're on the court, like you still put on the jersey or play the same basketball, football. So I don't think it really has anything to do with me being a female.
Isn't it anything to chip in into that?
No, it's not. It's really no difference for me. I mean, on the court, I'm in the basketball shorts, a jersey, and some Kobe Bryants. But off the court, I'm always in some heels. So for me, it's different. Like I like to get my nails done. I like to do the makeup thing. I like to, always separate myself from being the dog on the court, the fighter on the court, to me being a lady off the court. So it's definitely a big difference.
Okay, yeah. Amos, the floor is just for the next 2 minutes, so we can quickly wrap this up and call it.
All right. So thank you so much, Batunde. So I'm going to start from this question from Dejioseni, is one of the attendees. He says a lot of the panelists live in different countries. How easy have you found learning a foreign language, and what advice do you have for learning? So that's the question. I mean, any one of the panelists can answer the question, but my major question goes to John Utaka and Vincent Nyama. So what we do in Nigeria is to enlighten young footballers who are desperate to travel, desperate to escape out of Nigeria. Everybody just wants to leave. Oh, when I get to Europe, I'm going to be fine. When I get to Dubai or get to Estonia, get to France, I'm going to be okay. But oftentimes they get hot and they get stuck. So Taribo West once shared his story at our first event, how he signed a contract, a slave contract, that he never knew what it meant, what he was signing, right? He signed himself into slavery. So how do you think we can combat all of these with relating to young footballers back home? What advice would you give? Because you guys are in the best position to advise us further from this point.
Vince, I will let you go first.
Skipo.
Why you won't let me go first? No, sincerely speaking, that is a very big topic to handle because I know that topic. I've experienced it. I've been a witness. I've not been a victim of it. I've been a witness, and I guess it's been I have been the very, very vocal, should I say so? I've been the person that has been right from time very stubborn about deals, very stubborn about knowing details, very stubborn about knowing the dots on the paper, what it means. I have been that person that I've always, like Utaka said, for you to get to Umo here, you must get map where go carry, go reach there, you know. You must have a plan. I have been that person right from when I was in Eyimba. I've always wanted to play in Europe. I've always wanted to play abroad out of Nigeria. So that is difficult for our young guys back home because I was not a victim, but I know so many young guys already get frustrated. You know, they're frustrated, they sign contracts with too many agents, 5, 6, you see one player having 10 agents. That already puts you on the back foot. That already makes you struggling. And some of these agents, they just claim to be agents. They don't know anything. They don't have any connection. They're just waiting for you to have, you know, the green light that there is something opening up for you, and they jump on the deal. And when they jump on these deals, they don't know anything. All they want you is to do is just sign so that they get their cut, they get their money. You know, like he was saying about investment, I am also thinking in this particular line of speaking with some of my colleagues for us to form an agency, you know, that would take care of these young guys. I'm yet to initiate that. I'm thinking of that, forming an agency with, let's say, with John Utaka. He's got a clique with Osheyi Olofinjana, who's a top person in London now, with Joseph Yobo, who is now a coach in the Super Eagles. We will come together and form a massive agency. That's the agency that took me to Lille. It's called Star Factory. It's in Belgium, but it's a conglomerate of so many ex-international. You know, that's what I am envisaging, I envisage doing, form this big body, and we go to Nigeria, we go to other African countries, and we help them. I actually have someone who signed a contract in France for 3 seasons. They didn't tell him, because it was in French language, they didn't tell him that the 3rd season was optional. And he didn't know. The option was to be taken by the club, not him. He was so sure he signed a 3-year contract and he was living the life. And 2nd season, the club told him, listen, we don't need you anymore. He said, but I signed a 3-year contract. He said, but it was optional. Now, the problem was not him. The problem was the agent. You know, so these are the things, you know, that the problems our youngsters having. So if we can help sort them out, if we can help, I don't know if it's the same in basketball, but in football, we have this problem. And most of the guys are so desperate in traveling. I told myself, play first in Nigeria. I know the terrain is not good. I know the conditions are not favorable. I know the league is not that organized like we would want to have. I know money is not coming like we would, to equate the massive talents that we have. But then we must be a little bit patient. But then we must have the faith. But then we must trust the people who've been there and not just marketers that are jumping from somewhere and tell, oh, I have had so many of this. There's a deal in Ukraine. I just need you to give me 150,000. I will help you. No, there's a deal in Latvia, and the club is so interested in you, but they don't ask questions. They just want to leave. Now, this is where we come in. This is where we want to step in and help these guys. But then it's not going to be easy. We pray and we wish them well.
I'm so happy you were able to share a lot of things.
A lot of things, yes. Let's go to Mr.
Utaka. You don't throw me for fire.
So let me add to what Vincent, I mean, he said everything already, but this is the whole idea why I set up John Utaka Football Academy. The reason, is to give these boys platform where they can play at home, play against national teams on the 20s, on the 17s, on the 19s, get a little bit of exposure. Yeah. I brought them here in France in one tournament, so they will have the feel of how European game is being played and stuff like that. So when it comes to getting an agent and stuff like that, I put a kind of solution where if an agent wants to take one of our players to trials, I will only give you mandates of like a month. After that mandate, if you're not getting anything, then it's cancelled. So in that way, the players are not going to be exploited. So it's just as simple as that. We have to create a kind of platform where all these agents, they won't be that too comfortable, like contract with player and don't even know what is really on that, So we're trying to, like build them up also so that they know that they have their own rights also to bargain. Like, okay, I give you 2 months or 3 months mandate for you to get a club for me. If you don't get the club, then you're not competent enough, So it's just as simple as that.
All right.
Honestly, this is a huge problem. Sorry, OJB. So this is a huge problem prevalent in Africa. And then sometime in January, we're going to be having like an African forum. We've had 2 editions in Nigeria already. So Femi, Adefeso, and I were working on, OJB, we're working on an African version because we've had a series of complaints from other parts of the country, other parts of Africa, Ghana specifically. The problem is most prevalent in West Africa. So, we're happy to have John Utaka, we're happy to have Vincent Nyama on this team. If they want to join us in this campaign, we're so happy to have you. We're glad to have you. In fact, we have you already. We signed it. Femi, right?
How much they pay now?
well said.
Tickets now from Nigeria.
Yes.
All right, guys, it's been interesting so far. And I got a message. We are wrapping it up now. I got a message from somebody who's actually a FIFA match organizer and also an agent who's based in London. He sent me a message and OJB, can I say 1 or 2 things about what Enyama and Utaka just said? This is getting interesting. But before I bring you on board, Mr. Stephen Obeto, please, you have just 1 minute because we want to keep by the time. We have 3 minutes to wrap up this 90-minute session. So I'll try and bring Mr. Stephen Obeto on board to say his own part because he said this is getting interesting. So let me look for his name. Okay, I found you, Mr. Stephen Obeto. So please come on with your video and sound. So yeah, the session is being recorded. Thank you guys. We'll share it when the time comes, but let's just quickly wrap it up. Mr. Stephen.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, your video, please. And all right.
Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see. But you have 1 minute, please, to wrap it up.
Yes, fine. That's fine. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for having me on board. Thanks to Vincent and John Utaka. You guys, you've actually said everything from a player's point of view. With all due respect to our player and as a nation, first of all, 2 things I wrote down. 1, education. That's a problem that our people are facing. Secondly, corruption. A people that is that does not have education is deformed. If you're not informed, you're deformed. So that's where the problem is. So take, for example, a player is signing 15 contracts with different agents. So I'll just give you guys an example. I have a player playing for the national team. I knew him from when he was in under 17, 2009. He was part of that team. He did very well, right? I was in Italy, right? Getting trials for him. Then I was working with what's this guy now? Peter Osazo Dominguez's agent at that time. So we were doing something together. So, but later I was in Italy. I got a trial for him in Italy. Then the second one in Belgium. When I came back, I was now calling this guy. Where are you? Oh, nowhere to be found. So I had to leave Italy. I flew straight down to Abuja, ran straight to Benin, right, to go and look for this, but I couldn't find him. And then FA will not give you record. Only for me to discover that 2 years later, this boy was in what's it called now? Was in Egypt. Sorry, Tunisia. He was playing for one team in second division. So I asked, I said, national team, right? From national team, you went straight to second division in Africa, not even in Europe, where you will take your career forward. To cut the long story short, the players we speak today is not nowhere in football anywhere to find anymore. So, but sometimes I know that there are bad agents in the industry. You cannot take that away, but also there are people who have the fear of God in them that can't do certain things. So if we educate our people and give them at least that basic education, so okay, primary, secondary school, before you start playing football, at least people can read and write. That's the problem. So that's my take in there.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a lovely 90 minutes, and as a matter of fact, I wish we could continue this, but yeah, we have to keep with the time. But before we wrap it up, I would like everybody just to say, maybe some few seconds words, and so we can just wrap it up today. And we're planning to have a physical event of something like this next year, and the ambassador has said we will work together towards that. Thank you to on behalf of my humble self and my team. We'd like to appreciate everyone for taking time out to be part of this event. And I hope we'll definitely get together after this COVID-19. All right, from Aloysius to EVELYN to John Utaka, Vincent, EZINNE, just one more word, please. Aloysius.
Thanks a lot for having me. Thanks a lot. It's been huge meeting for us. It's a big pleasure for me to be part of this, even though I'm so surprised that we have so many Nigerian basketballers in France, basketballers of Nigerian region in France. I never knew, even though I'm not really one that watches basketball, but from now on I will start checking out for family, because we're in a family. Yeah. And then for my brother that said we can be opponent in the field, but we shouldn't be opponent in development. We shouldn't be opponent in helping out and going out of the field. Thank you for your voice. I've learned a lot from that. And every other person, thanks for listening and giving me that ear. It's been wonderful.
All right. Okay, I'll over to you.
Well, like you said, well said, we are family, and I can't wait to meet each and one of you all face to face. Stay healthy, please stay healthy. Without health, there's nothing else. And for us to continue doing what you've been doing and being the role models and role people that you have been doing, and let's connect. Let's find a way to connect, and email, Facebook, Instagram, all these ways, and let's connect. I can't wait.
Okay. EVELYN.
Thanks again, OJB, for having me on this platform, and nice to meet everyone. And I want to say this.
Go on.
EZINNE is playing tonight at 8:30. Y'all should watch the game on YouTube at FFBB. It's there. Her team is London New, and she's playing. I'm gonna be supporting her.
Yeah.
So y'all should watch her tonight at 8:30 p.m.
Who is playing?
Yeah, I'm playing tonight against Montpellier.
Yeah.
I'm playing tonight against
It's gonna be
Montpellier.
good because I'm watching it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really good game. Well, I guess I'll go since I'm off of mute. Stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Whatever it is that you're doing to give back to yourself or to the community, keep giving it 100%. Remember to pray God first, always. And yeah, just whatever you're doing, just keep doing it and give 100%.
All right, thank you. Ataka de Utaka.
I want to say thank you all so much.
Maybe he said, Kipo, he told me the link is not working more than 4 times. He said link is not working, link is not working more than 4 times.
God bless you all, guys.
Thank you. Ekene, over to you.
Oh yeah, I just want to say, I want to thank you for getting us all together. It's been an honor. Hopefully I'll be able to meet each and one of you guys. Definitely, but thank you for having me, and everybody stay safe. Ladies, good luck on your games today. And get that win.
All right, thank you so much.
You better get a win, Z. You better.
Facts. You already know.
Wrap today, and thank you so much to our guests and listeners and everyone. So this is from me. I'm your humble self, OJB Sports, based in Paris. So I'm sure I will go around and see everyone one of these days, the moment the lockdown is eased. So thank you so much, and with this we call it a wrap. Merci beaucoup.
Yes. Merci
Thanks so
beaucoup.
much. Thanks so much.
Bonne journée. Bonne journée.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.